It was great to go to Davenport and meet the Italian Portuguese colony members. A lot of retired community members from various parts of, Canada. There were members from Service Canada who were there, and they were kind of supporting and sharing issues on the government budgets. I saw activism at the grassroots level, and it was very exciting to be part of it. I've been absolutely thrilled to be part of Julie's, uh, initiative, and the way Julie was listening from the federal government. She came in from Ottawa to Toronto, and we were having a great discussion on various issues within the federal budget, and as an economics student, as a person who has a background in economics, business, math, I've always kind of looked at the interest rates. I've looked at stock markets. Focused in terms of the way the economy has to grow so that there is less of a gap between the haves and the have-nots. And when I look in terms of the Canadian economy, I mean, I focus on the American economy and the Canadian economy, and have really kind of followed the trends on General Motors, and the kind of impact that General Motors is having on various parts of the US and Canada, wherein they have been really struggling, and they have really it has impacted the lives and employment of many workers, because the automotive business has not been doing as well as it was originally planned to do. And now General Motors has moved into electric vehicles, so there's so much of focus in terms of making electric vehicles, getting cars like the Prius. And so what happens is that when a company changes its direction, it does impact the employees who are working there for long and who've been working on a product that was not something that they had originally thought would be created. So innovation is good, but at the same time innovation has to look at protecting the interests of people who would get impacted, and sharing the opportunities that would not let the impact have a huge loss on the lives of people. So there is a human side, and that human side has to be created to ensure that capitalism helps people and not hinders their plans. So with so much that's happening in Oshawa, I really applaud the federal government for doing for starting the social finance fund. Social finance fund enables partnerships to address Canada's biggest social challenges. Today there is a gap between charitable, non-profit and social purpose organizations, which has generated many innovative solutions, but often need partners who are willing to invest to bring those ideas to life. And there is a need today for a strong social finance market that would allow potential investors to partner with social innovators and work together to solve country's biggest challenges. And I definitely know of a lot of social finance funds that are available in the US, and just I'm thinking in terms of how can we create that kind of a bridge where those social finance funds actually come into Canada and they help in integrating charities, non-profit and social purpose organizations to kind of take up a bigger cause. The other area wherein the budget now today is focusing in Canada is the strong independent media to ensure a healthy democracy. And I think today the media headlines really talk in terms of every detail, whether it's scrutinizing a foreign trip, it's scrutinizing the kind of background of people, whether it's focusing on the backgrounds of people, focusing on the issues people have, really highlighting the criminal aspects of a person. So I think an independent media is needed to ensure a healthy democracy. Government recognizes the vital role that local journalism plays in communities from coast to coast, and making key investments to ensure that Canadians in underserved communities continue to have access to informed and reliable news coverage. And I think today I will, compare the government of Canada to organizations like World Economic Forum, United Nations, and other credible governments, and other governments like the government of Netherlands, And basically, I feel that the government has a very strong role in shaping opinions of people, and as a result, having an independent media is really essential, wherein when the views of everybody is respected, appreciated, and people are valued amidst all the differences they have and the disagreement they have. And as I interacted with the Italian Portuguese community of Davenport, I realized that there were a lot of people who had a lot of differences, but it was good to kind of bring them out and share it and tell in terms of what they could have done better. And the best part about interacting with seniors, specifically 65, 70, 75-year olds, is that when they look back at their lives, they know that they have certain regrets and they want to do those things differently. And I think that is a great feedback point, because it always encourages the young, the restless people to take their feedback and cues and work on it. Also, the other critical area that I learned in Davenport was that Government of Canada is committed to growing the economy, strengthening the middle class, and as part of the commitment, Julie, the team, the Prime Minister, and the entire cabinet are working on action on multiple fronts to ensure that construction contractors, subcontractors are paid promptly, and also there is recognizing the immense value of wild fish stocks to the environment who are working in the fisheries industry. And I think there's a lot of focus on conserving the environment and just ensuring that climate change goals are addressed. And I think that that happens because the kind of contribution and to pollution levels that many countries, there are many countries that are really kind of contributing to pollution, and climate change is something that has to be addressed at all levels. Many people say that, hey, climate change is something that we will do like 10 years from now, but it actually begins from home, whether we are using recyclable bags, whether we are looking at sustainability practices, whether when we are actually driving, we are focusing on like sharing a car with like two people, so that there is a carpool initiative that can be addressed, probably on few days taking public transport. So climate change is something that it all begins at home. And the kind of the dedication that is there amongst government leaders on preserving some of the most forgotten areas just makes it inspiring for many people from the business community, banks, to focus on that. Like, if today banks do not focus on fisheries, and if the banks today, and if various businesses, e-commerce companies, to not focus on fisheries, or on the marine infrastructure, or on how to kind of solve the crisis in Alberta, it is something that cannot be addressed by just one person, but it has to be addressed by everybody. So I was really thankful to be part of the Davenport community, where they're working hard to create a fair, clean, and prosperous Canada. And it was also interesting to see the fall economic statement that was produced by the local government, and wherein they were focusing in terms of upholding everything, whether it was the special interest groups of various communities like the LGBTQ communities, the francophone rights, and also focusing in terms of how to invest on a social finance fund, looking at investing $2.7 billion in official languages, and ensuring that the agenda of tourism is addressed, and supporting that, so that more number of people are learning the official languages and are focusing in terms of driving the tourism initiatives. So I've been really thankful for that, and it's been great to be part of the fellowship program of the government, wherein I kind of engage and work with one of the largest volunteer organization, and focus in terms of what keeps all the communities together. So it's really important to kind of know concepts that bring people together. And I think I can't thank myself enough for being part of this fellowship and being part of this grassroots, wherein I've reached out to a lot of people and learned so much during this process, and I'm really thankful to be part of the Davenport community, and looking at the unemployment rate and the economy and the kind of challenges that working age Canadians have faced. Also, their assertiveness in sharing what they want to change about their region in the next 10 to 15 years.